Okay, guys, I want to talk about something that's, very detrimental to the market. Now, if you've been listening to any of the videos I've told you about, quick summary, a lot of stocks tend to move on how the SPY moves. So if the SPY is going down, then, then like Apple might go down, Tesla might go down, Twitter, Microsoft, all these stocks will go down if the SPY is going down, right? Now, that's a general trend. However, things can make that stock not trend the same way as the SPY. So if Snapchat has earnings, and I've done a video over Snapchat earnings, so you've probably already seen Snap. If Snapchat has earnings, it's not going to look like the S&P 500 because obviously there's news on it. There's a lot of people trading it, and there's a lot more volume. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So news plays and earnings plays definitely take a toll on what happens to the market. Now, there's a difference between a news play and an earnings play. Earnings play, people know it's coming up. People know it's happening. So everyone prepares for it. That's why people see a spike in options. If you learned anything about options, implied volatility is a big thing that spikes for earnings. The normal IV's below 50%, maybe 30%, 20%. On earnings day, you can see go as high as 400% implied volatility. Now, for the market watch, you saw, not for the market watch. Now, there's things such as news plays, and sometimes news plays can, they're very short. Sometimes they can hold very long. But let's look at some news plays right here. So the best place I look for news is the market watch. Now, the market watch is a great place I look for news. They do have a lot of opinion articles, and I try not to read them. Sometimes I do read them because I find them interesting, but don't get lost in the opinion articles. What I like to watch is just how the market's doing. If there's anything that comes up, this is not signed in. Okay. Anyways, the market watch is definitely a great thing to sign up for. You don't have to. There's a lot of people who don't, and they get just the same amount of news as I do. I just feel like the Market Watch has a bit of an edge on certain things, and they're very fast on reporting things, in my opinion. I haven't been let down. But yeah, guys, news plays can spike a stock. The stock can be going down all day, and it can spike up the stock 30% in just seconds. The second a news article comes out and people realize if it's good or bad, that's when the stock moves. So, what makes a stock move, just like news, earnings. If a stock comes out with good earnings, the next day the stock's probably going to trend up or trend down, whatever it is, So earnings plays can definitely show a bit more on a stock. It can cause a lot more movement on a stock. It's just basically deviating from what the S&P 500 is doing. Logitech earnings are going to be something I'm looking at tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Monday. Now, Twitter, ironically enough, is a great place to source news. I like watching this guy, Fast Stock News. He's a good one. I do like him. He posts a bunch of news articles. He's a bit delayed, but there's a lot of information that I don't see and that just pops up instantly for me. He also posts watches and stuff like that. There is some news, just very interesting stuff. Tesla internal probe scrutinizes executives in office of CEO. Tesla was being shared a lot of news right now. He does a lot of political things, but guys, sometimes look, BBBY 13G filings. That's some good news for BBBY. So obviously, I'm pretty sure that the BBBY moved a little bit too, and had a spike in volume when that came out. So Twitter is a great tool. There's a bunch of other people who post, market news and stuff like that. Just try not to get it caught up in all the other conspiracies and stuff like that. Now, some news is what Congress does. Some of you might be familiar with the chip or semiconductor production. Senate advances more than $50 billion bill to boost U.S. semiconductor production. Now, that was a huge bill. And if you're aware of anything like that, you notice that, hey, if suddenly companies like Nvidia and AMD, they're going to get a $50 billion boost to their revenues, I think they might be making quite a bit of money, and their stock might go up quite a bit. So it's just, certain things like this. If there's a bill for stimulating any certain area of the market, that entire sector of the market might deviate off the SPY. Nvidia, I've done a couple videos off using Nvidia as an example, and it just runs. It fucking ran super high on the SPY, and so Nvidia swings, Nvidia calls, made me a bunch of money on that. Now, obviously, sometimes people want to buy at the absolute low, sell at the absolute high, and Nvidia, you kind of had to chase it a little bit, because the second this bill came out, Nvidia already jumped up $10, and calls and puts, all of it started inflating in price, and so people buying in were just trying to buy in, and it cut some of their profits. Not gonna lie, they still made money. I still made money chasing it, but I definitely would say it cut some of my profits. By how much, I don't know. I really don't care. I made 1,000% on an Nvidia swing before, and I made 300% on another Nvidia swing the next day. So thumbs up for Nvidia. I still made a crap ton of money on that. Now, speaking of Nvidia, Nancy Pelosi, she's a big one, currently has a better trading record than Warren Buffett right now. So do with that information as you wish. Oh, look, Market Watch. Nancy Pelosi, guys, some people religiously follow only her trades, and I haven't heard any complaints from them. You know what I mean? So a lot of people do this. They follow, what Congress is doing. So if suddenly, and people in Congress, they have to disclose, or if they're in a position of high power, they have to disclose what kind of trades they're making, because obviously these people, in the Senates, they're the ones who are pushing the bills. They see it first before anyone else. So if, I see my local governor buying $40 million of Tesla stock, and then he's going to pass a bill that mandates electric cars for every household, am I going to think that's insider trading? Maybe, but it's profit to be made. There's a reason for everything, and especially when these people, political figures, are making some big stock market movements, may not be a bad idea to follow it. And I'm not saying follow it blindly. Do some research, but there's a reason they're putting their money there. Nancy Pelosi is notorious for just getting away with insider trading. I don't even know how she still does that. I'm definitely biased in my opinions here, but go off. But yeah, guys, some people genuinely follow what happened in Congress. Nancy Pelosi's husband, he bought millions of worth of Nvidia stock right before the chip manufacturing bill came out. And I'm gonna show you the chart for Nvidia and just show you how crazy news plays move it. So coming back on Nvidia here, Nvidia news plays, as you can see, Nvidia bottomed out at 140 and it shot all the way up to 181 at 44. That's a fucking movement. And if I go here and just look at, oh man, I didn't do that. Let's do it here. Nvidia ran up 29%. That's a fucking move and a half, especially a half on just Nvidia. And people were swinging calls on this. They held a call from here all the way to here, and they're up almost 30,000%. Insane. It's an insane movement on just swinging those calls. Wait, it wasn't 30. My math is wrong. It's 3,000. But people were swinging options, or all day, every day, swinging a call to here, swinging a call to here. There's easily 1,000% between each one of these. 1,000. Let's see, if you would have swung another Nvidia call right here, 1,000. It gapped up. Market gapped up a bit, so you made another 1,000. Then you'd make another 1,000 for another gap up. Then you make another 1,000 for a gap up. make another 1,000 for a gap up. I mean, just, swinging those calls on Nvidia those days, and even playing in the market day, scalping Nvidia was just, there was money to be made on it. And that's because people were seeing, hey, Nvidia's getting a lot of fucking money, and my fucking governor fucking bought Nvidia calls. Or she bought Nvidia stock. Like, man, dude, it was a run. And I love news plays, but sometimes they don't hold this long. A news play can be up to like 15 minutes. Like, that's all it needs to be. Like, I've seen AMC, sorry. AMC came out and they're like, oh, we're renovating and we're buying this gold mine, right? So AMC came out and they said that. People were skeptical. AMC shot up. Things shot up almost 20% one day and it came all the way down. It was just ferocious movement on AMC that day. So yeah, guys, news plays, definitely work out. You find a good source for news. Sometimes it is a bit hard to find a good source. Unusual Whales has a news tab. So let me go ahead and pull up Unusual Whales right here. See if you guys can see it. If I go to menu, it should have live news flow. Now, I don't really like this one because it kind of gives you more of an overall market kind of look. But it's good, trust me. Like, sometimes they have some gems in here. Gasoline prices are decreasing, Biden. We are striving to ensure that fuel prices will follow the price of oil. That's, you might see some movement on ExxonMobil, some of the other gas giants out there. There's just some interesting stuff to see. And, if you're doing movements on SPY, all this is important. You want to see how everything's doing. So yeah, I mean, plenty of places to find news, guys. Just don't go searching overly hard for a specific kind of news. Don't tunnel news. Don't tunnel vision trading. Don't buy Snapchat and look for good news about Snapchat. I mean, like, you will find good news about everything, and you'll find bad news about everything. Just look for whatever pops up first, and that's what you're gonna play on. But take everything with a grain of salt, guys. I mean, like, news plays are violent, they're fast, they're ferocious. Sometimes if it's like a bill that comes out, then it might hold a couple days. Swinging calls will be a good movement. But if it's something like, oh, Rivian came out and they said we're having the best sales ever today. Well, Rivian stock's gonna jump up, and the next day it might fall back down. It might just hold that level forever. Guys, like, it's just, news plays are very fast. You just got to know which direction it's going to go. If it's good, calls. If it's bad, puts. Sell it the same day. Is it worth the risk holding it till tomorrow? There's questions you got to ask. You got to have a lot of common sense when doing news plays. And in my opinion, news plays they're fast. It's a great way to make like a quick 150, maybe even 300% gain. But it's very violent, you guys. Like, you can lose all of it instantly. Like, all that gain you made, it can be gone within minutes. So, be very cautious on how a news runs up on you. It could be like a volume play as well. Volume plays, news tend to follow. So if there's like a spike in volume on AT&T, and then news comes out that, hey, AT&T had a sudden influx of 30 million customers, right? I'm making those numbers up. If AT&T came out and was like, oh yeah, we got 30 million new customers, and then the volume's going to pump up even more, news is pumping it up even more, and then you have a run. And you might even have a run even till tomorrow. So, I know news always follows the volume on stocks, so be very wary of that. If the stock's already running up and a news play comes out, yes, you might have a little bit more movement because you're getting more news and you're getting more volume onto a stock. But that's where volume play comes in. You want to get it on the volume spike, and then the news will follow, and it'll pump up even more. So be very wary of how you make your plays on this one. But yeah, I mean, definitely look for things. It's very common sense based, right? Very, very common sense based. If you don't understand it, follow a couple news articles, see how they affect the market, and then try to, paper trade news plays for a while. There's always news in the market. Every day there's always a news. There's always something trending. There's always something breaking. So always look at it. Always be cautious on it. And practice, practice, practice. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. It's very short relative to some of the other ones I've been making, but I hope you guys like this strategy. I personally like it. But it's very fast. You got to be on top of it. You got to be at your computer on your phone all day. Some of you guys might like that. I don't. I like to do other things and fiddle with my thumbs and go on TikTok. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. You're on your way.